Welcome, everyone, to Referral Institute's 3 common mistakes that even smart business owners make that cause frustration in networking and referral marketing. Or they may be just calling it 3 common networking mistakes that even smart business owners make. A couple of just quick things before we get started. I'd like to make sure that you have our worksheets. You can download them at http://bit.ly/RioCommon. This workbook will have some information and sketches, diagrams for the program. Of course, you can also take notes on blank paper. So the purpose of this program is to discuss 3 mistakes that I see networkers making. To briefly summarize, the first one is focusing on sales rather than relationships. The second one is wide area networking, which I will explain further. And the third one is not having a referral marketing plan. A little bit about the Referral Institute Oakland. We are 3 coaches and consultants. There's myself, I'm Corey Knott. There's my wife, Gail Knott, who is also a social media online marketing expert, and Dawn Lyons, who is the co-owner, and she is also the owner of the local BNI region and vice president of Referral Institute Worldwide. I will be presenting this webinar today. And as I said, my name is Corey Knott, and you can email me with any questions or comments at corey@referalinstituteoakland.com. I always welcome feedback. So a little bit about us. Many ask, what is Referral Institute? Well, we're business coaches and consultants, and we focus on helping business owners generate amazing business through authentic business relationships. We have a powerful, in-depth set of tools to help our clients achieve this. And we use coaching to keep them accountable. The next question that I often get is, how did I get into this? So I started my first business in 1998. I was making custom databases and other software for small businesses and also some local government agencies. From an early age, I was shy and very introverted, and I didn't find it easy to make or keep friends. I liked working with people, but because of things that happened in my early life, I hid from people and believed that's kind of how I liked it to be. I had huge dreams. And so running a software business was really my first step in moving towards achieving those dreams. I was moderately successful with my business. I had a couple of great clients and doing some really interesting work. And I joined BNI in 2003 because people told me I should be networking to get more business. And of course, the market was down before then, and I had just come back from a long trip. And that worked out well for me. I met a lot of great people and did fairly well in business. I actually got one very long contract with Electronic Arts that lasted many years. And while it hasn't resulted in much more, I think it satisfies something big that I wanted to do with my life, which is make video games. So in 2008, after that Electronic Arts contract, I got involved in a new business developing and implementing software for a vertical market. And I was responsible for the marketing and sales, as well as some technical development. So that meant I had to do a lot more sales in a competitive market. I knew that having a strong network, right, from my BNI time would be valuable in generating new leads. So I got involved with the Referral Institute as a student. My wife had already been doing it, and I could see that it was working for her. And with that, I built my software business to a consistent 6-figure income. It wasn't so much in that vertical market, but I built up my other business by all the contacts I was making and putting a plan into action. And I still maintain that business today, though I refer out almost any new business because I prefer to build my coaching business. So as a Referrals for Life student with Referral Institute, when we were back in Petaluma, my coach, who was Dawn Lyons, told me to consider more self-development work. I started as a client with a personal development company, and it really impacted my life. Among the number of major changes, my biggest epiphany was this realization that I wanted many, many meaningful relationships in my life, not just a few that I kept at arm's length. So I pursued a training program with that personal development company. I had found a passion for coaching and training as well. And when Dawn realized that I was looking to change careers, I needed to get out of software and do something more with people, she approached me about opening a Referral Institute franchise. Since Referral Institute is a combination of relationship building strategy and professional self-development, I found it to be a perfect fit for what I wanted to accomplish. And so I started Referral Institute Oakland. I love that we help people achieve those big dreams by filling their lives with people who want to and are capable of being a part of it and contributing to it. I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs create a fulfilling business through authentic relationships and pursuing their purpose. So that's how I got involved. So let's get back to those 3 mistakes and some solutions. The first mistake is that we often focus on sales rather than relationships. The second mistake is what I call wide area networking. And as I mentioned before, I'd explain that, which is it means that we tend to go wide where the benefits are more likely to happen when we go deep, especially when we apply strategies and techniques in a process and so on. And finally, the combination of wide and deep networking to be effective requires having a referral marketing plan. Not having some kind of plan is the third mistake. So we chose this topic because we see time and time again that business owners spend a great deal of time networking and they get little in the way of results. Or they avoid aggressively networking because they've given up without realizing just how valuable and rewarding networking can be. So when I'm talking about these mistakes today, it's important to realize that these are not mistakes that are simply rectified by having the right knowledge. In fact, I think most of you probably already have this knowledge in some form already. We've talked about it. Other people have talked about it. Any networking group talks something about this, though I'd say they go more surface than we do. We go very deep into our work. But what you may not have is the clarity to put it into action. So the concepts I'm going to share today are really pretty simple. They're just not necessarily it's not easy to remain consistent in implementing and persist in maintaining. So I love this quote. Networking is not a face-to-face cold calling opportunity. That seems obvious, right? Cold calling is a sales technique. Networking is a technique for getting referrals and direct prospecting. It involves other people, right? It seems like a team sport. So let's look at the difference between referral marketing and sales. We use a sports analogy. Start with golf. Golf is a solo sport. It doesn't require that anyone else play in order for the golfer to be in a game. And while there's some competition, right, it's actually a very competitive sport, the golfer is entirely on his own. He doesn't require to have anybody else on his team to be the best he can be against all other contenders. Now let's look at another sport. We'll say soccer. Soccer, on the other hand, is a contact sport. It requires teamwork and for each player to play his part or her part accordingly. There are some commonalities between soccer and golf. Both can be played professionally. Both are sports. They're usually competitive. They both involve a ball. And from there, the similarities generally stop. I guess they both require good physical condition, but they can be played, both of them can be played in relatively any condition depending on what level you want to play at. So as entrepreneurs, we are often like the golfer. Like golf, like the golfer, the business owner wants to be in control of all the variables that she possibly can be. Right? In soccer, we don't have those options. All the variables are on the field. We have to involve other people, and that team needs to be as good as we are, or at least almost as good in order to be an effective team. So when we ask people what they do to generate business, they'll usually give us a lot of different answers. So they do things like speaking engagements, a newsletter, blogs, social media, online marketing, SEO, special events, cold calling. It's still a tool for many people, networking events, and trade shows. And there's various other things as well, of course, like referral groups, joining a referral group, BNI, BRN, Latip, Go Ramp Up, which is now gone. Asking customers for referrals is a way to generate leads. Having one-to-ones, which is a more in-depth way of meeting with people, and relationship building. So here's the thing. We know that when we look at these activities, that on the left side, we're looking at sales activities. On the right side are referral marketing activities. And we need those sales activities to support us. But if we want more referrals, doesn't it make sense to spend more time on referral marketing activities? So some of these items do generate word of mouth leads, but that's still a solo activity. The giver of the lead is usually has a very passive role. They just make a quick introduction and that's it. And they're not involved in the entire process. And referral marketing, effective referral marketing, it means that there are 3 people involved. And to be truly effective, the giver of the referral will have an active role in the entire process all the way up until the sale. So most of these activities are prospecting activities. They aren't referral marketing. Even networking, which I put over on the left under sales, is usually a solo prospecting activity. Think about this. You go to a chamber event and somebody sticks a card in your hand and says, by the way, give me a call if you need insurance. And so there's a networking disconnect. We go there to meet people and either offer our products or to ask referrals. We don't necessarily go there to buy. And yet that's what people are doing. They're going there to find new customers. And in fact, even in many referral groups, this is still the case. People are treating the group as a buyer's club versus a true referral marketing group. So I'd recommend putting more time into the right-hand activities, and the left-hand activities, the sales activities, actually be more in support of the referral marketing. So an easy way to tell if what you're doing is referral marketing versus direct prospecting is, are there 3 people involved? There's the giver of the referral, that is, a receiver, right, which you would hope to be you, is receiving the referral, and a prospect. It could go the other way. You could be the giver and working with the receiver. When we're building relationships, giving referrals is as important as getting them. So it's a referral marketing activity if it involves 3 people. If it's just you and a prospect, then it is a sales activity. And even if there is, say, a 3rd person involved in a word of mouth environment, it may also be just a sales activity if they have a very passive role. So referral marketing is about generating prospects through the efforts of others. And also under referrals, I mentioned relationship building. We actually do a lot of work around relationship building in the Referral Institute. So where we help our clients is recognizing that referrals is actually just one of the 16 relationship builders that we use, among other things that we also use for relationship building activities. So there's a lot of things we can do on the referral side of the column that aren't listed here to build relationships with the ultimate goal of getting more referrals and opportunities. So think about your business generation activities and the purpose of them. Networking, to be effective, must be done with thoughtful engagement. And I'll repeat something very important again. If you're planning to get referrals, your activities must include 3 people. So what's the one other thing that the professional golfer and the professional soccer players have in common? right? We talked about the things, competitive, it's a sport, involves a ball, there's physical conditioning. But there's one other thing we didn't mention, and that is the coach, right? Professional players have a coach. We need a coach to hold us accountable, to show us what we're not seeing, to help us strategize, create a plan, and execute the plan. Last week, I was at the Referral Institute International Conference. We had 50 referral marketing experts from around the world in the room. So these are franchise owners from all over. Some of them speak very little English, in fact. And we shared our networking challenges. And around the room, people shared the things that they were stuck on in their own referral marketing. None of those challenges were particularly special. We're covering 3 of them today. We, as referral marketing experts, have the skills and knowledge to overcome these challenges, and yet we still need coaches ourselves to see what we aren't seeing and help us stay accountable. It's a challenge to remain clear on the purpose of the things that we do to generate business. So whether it's sales or referrals and how to merge the two is something we at Referral Institute are passionate about helping our clients with. In fact, we recently had a client who came in who was doing SEO, right? So a marketing guy, knew the business, everything else. And he started with us, and within 6 weeks, he had already doubled his business and paid for the program. And it was all about just seeing that his current referral marketing activities, while building, were going very slowly, and we helped him move in a much more strategic direction. And within the last year, he's actually tripled his business. So let's go to the next mistake, which is what I call the wide area networking. And wide area networking is often something like visibility networking. It's going out and meeting lots of people. It is frequently very much like direct prospecting. We just go and meet people, put a card in their hand, and hope that they want to do business with us. So it's one of the ways we might go about getting prospects. And that's not really going to help us get what we truly want, which is a lot of referrals and time saved in a fulfilling business. So as I said before, and I keep repeating, referral marketing involves 3 people. If you're direct prospecting in any way, speaking, blogging, cold calling, or whatever, you can expect that your sales generation will look something like what we have on the screen here. There's you on the left, and over on the right are all those prospective clients in the world. And we know that it takes about an average of 8 hours to get from 0, like no prospects, to a prospect who turns into a client, right? So all those people you talk to, and finally somebody says, yes, I will work with you, takes an average of 8 hours. Now, your industry may be a little different. Bigger ticket items obviously take more hours. Lower ticket items may take less hours. So we average it out at 8. So if you know your numbers, the math is simple. Say you want to increase your business by 1 more customer, right? Maybe you have 9, you want to get a 10% increase, you're going to get 1 more customer. So you would just simply add 8 more hours to the amount of time you have to prospect. And if you want to keep growing your business and adding more clients, it's simply a matter of spending more time getting those clients. So the question is, how much do you want to grow your business? And how many more hours do you have to do that? If you want to generate more business, do you know how many more hours you need in your week? How long does it take to convert a prospect to an ideal customer? It's pretty simple. I mean, most of us have, 8, 16, 24 more hours to add to our week, right? Yeah, that's not usually yes is not usually the answer I get to that. So what if we had a better way to do this? What if we actually got strategic with our referral marketing and we started building authentic business relationships? So let's start thinking about how we would put our referral sources in the way to help us get those clients. These people are going to be talking to the kind of people we want as prospects every day. And they're talking to them over and over again. They're already doing a lot of this work that you're doing. So what would it take for them to have a conversation on your behalf and qualify a prospective client for you. And again, of course, the same kind of thing you'd be doing for them. All they'd have to do is, when they're done talking to that prospect or that client or that person about their business, is just spend do a couple of questions on your behalf, promote you as an expert. How long do you think that would take? Typically, that would take about 5 to 10 minutes. And if you develop enough of these relationships, you can see that they could start to generate some huge returns with far fewer hours. One of my first clients I worked with on this was a very avid networker. He was doing commercial liability, still does, and he was networking probably a good 20 to 25 hours a week. He was running around from group to group to group, very giving individual. He was also, of course, in BNI. And the thing is he also had limited hours. So he wanted to get actually close to 10 times his income. I was happy to see if we could just double it. And he wanted to spend less time. So within the first 6 weeks again of the program, he actually was on track because we showed him how to build his referral sources, get those people from the places he was networking so they would start qualifying the prospects for him. When he got clear on his market and started putting this in place, he was actually able to cut his networking down to 8 hours a week. And when I last talked to him, he had set up an office in the downtown area. He was able to work just 6 hours a day, had hired an assistant, and he was now able to spend the rest of his time with his daughter, picking her up from school, taking her to things, and so on. So he is working smarter, not harder, using this method. And that's how we help our clients. So the question is, what would you do with all that time? Would you, like our commercial liability guy, would you be spending more time with your daughter? Of course, you are going to have to spend more time with your referral sources, developing those relationships. But here's the thing. You don't have to spend all that time finding those prospects. You will have some direct prospecting because you'll be bringing referrals to your people. But imagine if you didn't have to spend hour after hour with people who you don't know very well, you don't necessarily like, you're hoping will say yes to you, versus spending hours with people who are, you know, you like, you trust, who share similar values, have similar interests, maybe serving the community in the same way, and so on. My wife has built her network that way. And what's amazing is she does almost no regular networking other than her BNI. She spends a lot of times with people that she really likes, and that results in generating referrals. We go wine tasting, get referrals. Go to dinner, to try a new restaurant. Referrals are often the result because we're meeting with people that we like and we get to hang around with. So the motto of Referral Institute actually is referrals for life. And we say that because we know that referrals aren't just about generating business. Referral marketing is about a whole new way of doing business, and it enhances our lives and results in relationships that'll last a lifetime. So if this is what you want, you can see that the wide area networking doesn't help you as much as going deep. We need to go deeper with our referral sources. I see people spending way too much time meeting new people as opposed to spending time with the people who can help them and going deeper into that relationship. The struggle, though, may be in understanding a good way to do that. I'll come back to this picture. And that is, how do you build your network with the intention of building those strong relationships? So if you're like many networkers, your network probably looks something like this. These are all the kinds of people that you've met, you know them, you like them, you trust them, may just have a little bit of visibility with them. But ultimately, how do you organize them into a way to know who to go deep with? If you try to go deep with everyone you know, it's going to take far more time than you have. And we really do have to be doing some direct prospecting if we're new in our business and need to bring in that kind of business. Or if you're trying to build that better business, how do you find the right people to bring you those ideal clients? Well, here's a very simple strategy for that we start with as sort of the foundation of our program. And that is by looking at different referral sources and then going deeper with them. So we identify 8 types of referral sources. These would be different ways that people might come to you to be potential people in your network to bring you business. I'm not going to go into all 8. That is something that we go to in our full programs and can get a little complicated, but some of the basic ones that are pretty obvious: business networks, right? That's the one that most of us work with: chambers, BNI, other types of referral groups and networking groups. Clients is another source of referrals. Some referral marketing companies focus strictly on clients. We don't. We consider clients to be more of a passive source of referrals. You can ask them for referrals, but they aren't necessarily going to bring you the ideal clients that you want, and they don't necessarily benefit, maybe except monetarily, from helping you. So there are different reasons, but they can be a good source of referrals, especially when we need more business. Service organizations are another one. Those are great places to build credibility. Things like Rotary, Lions, any one of these volunteer groups that you can get involved in, especially if there are other business owners involved. Staff is another source of referrals. If you have staff, are they getting some training on how to bring clients to the business? It does benefit them if you grow, right? So as I said, I won't go into the others, but once we start identifying where people come from, what is the next thing we do? We want to be more strategic and identifying if somebody can help us grow our business through referrals. Now, any one of these people can bring us referrals, but there are some people it's going to be easier than others. And where that is going a little deeper into what we call the contact sphere. And the contact sphere, the simple definition is, these are people who are in your industry who don't directly compete with you. Another way to look at it is, it would generally be easier for them to start a conversation on your behalf. So to give an example, imagine a massage therapist, and the massage therapist has somebody on the table and they're working on something in the back, working out that knot, and the massage therapist says to her client, "Oh, yeah, this knot's really tight. By the way, have you thought about your financial plan recently?" Right? That would just be totally incongruous. It's not easy for a massage therapist to talk to people about their financial planning. They're not in the same contact sphere. But what if she said, "Oh, this knot's really bad. It must be causing you a lot of pain and they keep coming up. Have you ever thought of seeing an acupuncturist?" That would be totally congruous with her work, right? It would not be out of the blue. It would not surprise the client, and it may be very helpful for them. Similarly, a financial planner can recommend a mortgage broker. They probably aren't going to be pushing massage therapy as part of their intake process with a new client. So the immediate thing to do when you're out there networking is to start identifying people in your contact sphere. These are the people who are most likely to be able to help you. And to take it one step further, we kind of call this contact sphere 2, or target market, which is, once you know if somebody is in your contact sphere, find out if they have the same target market, right? That they're not going to be able to help you as much with your business if they're not seeing the kind of people that you need to see. Could be demographic, could be psychographic, could be all sorts of reasons. But even if they're in the same industry, you'll want to know if they talk to the same kinds of people that you want as clients. Once that's all in place, and you're saying, wow, this person has the kind of people I want, I have the kind of people they want, we can help each other. The next thing is to activate that relationship. When I say people make a mistake in wide area networking, it's because they meet people, they develop relationships, but they don't activate the relationship. So the next step is to develop what we call a power team. And that's 2 people who are inspired to help each other, who are having regular conversations about referrals and identifying other opportunities. this is where the magic starts to happen. This is where it goes from accidental to proactive referrals. And then finally, if the relationship is strong enough, if it's developed enough, it can become a referral partnership. And now the referrals are now consistent, meaning you can set expectations for each other. You know there's going to be a certain amount within a given amount of time. It's proactive. You're working together to identify opportunities. And it's reciprocal. It's going back and forth. We know that with 4 to 8 referral partners, our clients get all the referrals they want or need to grow their business. And even with enough power team members, which is really how I grew my software business, I never had strong referral partners. Well, I had one, but it didn't last long because he moved away. But I have a lot of power team members, and they're feeding me referrals even today, even though I do very little with it, because it's just with strong relationships. So power teams and referral partners are really where the magic happens. So just to recap, being strategic means not going wide, it means going deep. And the first step of going deep is identifying if the person's in your contact sphere, if they have the kind of people you want to talk to, and then continuing those one-to-ones and relationship building activities to activate the relationship and make it go deeper. And where we help our clients is figuring out if a relationship is worthwhile, how deep it can go, helping them have those conversations, and then maintaining power teams and referral partnerships. So once we start putting that all together, the third mistake that we often run into with people is they don't have a plan. Right? So understanding some of those two strategies, right? Focus on referral marketing activities, and then focus on developing your contact sphere are two very effective ways to at least start getting more referrals. If you want to be more strategic and actually build a larger team of people who are helping you, the next step is you've got to have a plan. And there are some components of that plan. We work with our clients to develop this plan. However, there's nothing that says you can't go and develop it on your own to even some small degree to at least have that in place. And I've seen people do that. The first steps of a plan involve what I call clarity. And that means having what we call an emotionally charged connection, a vision, a mission, and a target market. I'll get to that in a minute. And the second step of a plan would then be identifying your people, right? Who are your referral sources? That's what I went to with those circles a couple of minutes ago. Then your activities, equipping your people. Okay, so activities are what you do, equipping your referral sources with the right knowledge and training, and then all the things that go around to support your referral marketing. And that's our collaboration aspect. So let me talk a little bit about clarity. One of the common issues that many people have in business is they have a business that can be seen as a commodity. I know for me as a business coach, I am in an area where there are a lot of people who can coach people on what they do, on running their business. Financial planners, they can all be very good at what they do, but to an outsider, it seems like they're everywhere. Real estate agents are everywhere. Mortgage brokers are everywhere. So it can be sometimes difficult to stand out, to really show how we're different from our competition. So part of developing clarity so that it's easier for people to refer you is to have your story in place. And your story is really made up of your ECC, that we call the emotionally charged connection. That's how you and why you do your business, how you serve people, what's your kind of driving passion behind the business. The vision, which is where you're going to take the vision. What is it going to look like? What is this business going to look like in a few years, right? So people don't refer to you or buy from you because of the money. They buy from you because of you and what they believe will happen when they help you. So a strong vision articulates that and inspires others to want to refer you. The mission ties it all together and keeps you on track. And finally, the target market helps people really understand who it is that you serve, the ideal client. It's much easier to refer people when we know who their ideal client is versus they can just serve everyone. People trust specialists. They don't necessarily trust the generalist. If you're the only person they can refer, they may refer all that business to you. But generally speaking, we know lots of people in many industries. How do we know you're the right person for that strong relationship we have? And the thing is if you're not getting a lot of those referrals that you want, it often is just because people don't really know if you're the right person for that relationship. They may be saying yes, 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 but they may not have that gut motivation necessary to actually pull the trigger on the referral. So when you have this clarity, I believe that you will not only stand out from the herd, but you will actually effectively have no competition because nobody truly does what you do and why you do it. So once we have all that in place, the next step of a plan is identifying who's in our network, what we're going to do with them, what information they need, and then finally supporting. So just to talk about that real quick, when I drew out the circles, you could be putting people in your database into those circles. Where are they? Are they in your contact sphere? Are they a power team? Would you call them a partnership? Or can they get to that partnership? So it's really listing the people that you feel you have the best relationships with or would like a good relationship with for the business, and identifying where they are now and where they could go. Then scheduling activities with them, thinking about what they like to do, what you like to do, even just those basic one-to-ones. A lot of times it just means meeting a few more times to have some deeper conversations about how you can help each other. And then the equipping aspect means, do they have your business card? Do they know how to talk about you? Do they know what to say about you? Do you know what to say about them? Do you know their interests, their activities, what their family is like? So when you're qualifying referrals or they're doing that for you, it's much more than, oh yeah, Susie, she's great. You'll love her. You'll love her to death. I know you'll really like her. Let me have her give you a call. To becoming a much more effective and asking the right questions to make sure that prospect is really interested in having a conversation. And finally, the supporting part goes back to many of those sales activities we talked about to generate leads, but many of those activities, such as your website, your speaking, newsletter, blogs, SEO, and so on, how you can use those in your referral marketing. So it's not just about getting leads to get more business, but actually bringing in leads to your network. Because when you bring in leads to your network and referrals to your network, that those people you bring in will now be also interested in you at some point. So you're actually warming more and more people up. So supporting also becomes an important aspect of it. Think about how you would include others in your other sales activities. So to summarize, actually one more piece, which is actually part of the plan, is we use what we call our networking scorecard. And for those who come to one of our bigger programs, we actually get a copy of the scorecard and how to use it. We're actually working on an app for this. But you can do this for yourself, is create a list of activities that you do and score yourself based on it to help in your referral marketing, right? So you'll see here a couple of things like have a one-to-one with somebody who's in visibility, credibility, or profitability. So we score these as the stronger the relationship, the more points you get. Because we know that there's a tendency to do one-to-ones with people we don't know very well, when the payoff is doing it with people we have very strong relationships with. There's networking activities, having speaking engagements, bringing people referrals. So by keeping track of a score, we start to see that as we have more activities, we can see if there's a payoff. And that's the third component of a plan, which is the compensation, right? What's the point of having a plan if it doesn't result in something? So if you have more questions about the scorecard, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But ultimately, I've had clients just develop their own scorecards of the activities they want to do and putting them in place. So that wraps up the 3 networking mistakes. I'd just like to quickly summarize some of the tips. So the first mistake is sales versus relationship building activities. So again, most important piece of information on that is every referral activity involves 3 people. If you want more referrals, consider that before you engage in an activity. How can you involve the giver of a referral in that process? The second one was the wide area networking. And as I showed you, the best way to work on your wide area networking issues is actually to go deep, identify people, and figure out how they can help you and how you can help them, and deepen that relationship. And finally, creating a plan. I gave you the components of a plan. What can you put in place now to actually start your plan for 2016? If you'd really like to learn more and are interested in doing something with us, I have a workshop coming up in February. It's called The 3 Components of a Fulfilling Business. And it goes into what some of the mistakes we talked about today, among other things. And we work on how to create something that will inspire others and really stand out from your competition, to create consistency and quality and the quantity of prospects. So we're going to go into that working smarter and not harder, as well as some other tools that we use. And finally, how to find your tribe and never feel alone in your business. So oftentimes it can feel like we're just spending a lot of time spinning our wheels, talking to prospects and so on. What if you have those referral sources you get to spend time with and business comes your way? We'll show you how that can be done and give you some tools to actually make it happen. So that's on February 19th. It's going to be from 9 to 4 p.m. and we'll have lots of networking and breaks and so on to get to know people in the room. That'll be right here in Oakland, likely at the Referral Institute office. We have space for 20. If it grows larger, we'll move it somewhere else in the city. And the cost is just $97. If you'd like to do that, or if you're still not sure, what I would encourage you to do is sign up for a growth strategy session with me. It's complimentary, doesn't cost anything. It's very much like a one-to-one. I'm going to get a 30,000-foot overview of your business, learn a lot more about you, how I can help you, or maybe others can help you, or just strengthen our relationship. I really enjoy doing this with people. So to sign up for that, just go straight to coreynknott.youcanbook.me. Find a time that is convenient. Let me know if you want to do it by phone or in person. If it's in person, I do it in my office in downtown Oakland. Or if you're further out, we'll just have to arrange a day where I'm going to be out your way. When you sign up, I will actually send you a complimentary self-assessment tool. This will ask you a series of questions which will help you see your strengths and your weakness in your referral marketing and other marketing plans. So please do sign up with me. I thank you for listening in on the online seminar and hope you have a great 2016. Thank you very much.